No one really shows you how to hire elite remote team member from scratch. I've interviewed thousands of people and most of them sucked. And the crazy part is most businesses still hire them and they continue to struggle. Here's the thing, guys. Hiring A players or elite team members is not luck. You need a set process, and this is exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. I'm going to give you the step-by-step and all the resources you need in order to actually find the team members you're looking for. I'm going to be real with you. Over the last 4 years, we've hired over 1,500 people. However, when I first started hiring, I made a ton of mistakes. I hired the wrong people, I put the right people in the wrong seats, and overall, it was a cluster, you know what. Ultimately, I lost time, I lost money, and I lost energy that I can never get back. But once I figured it out, everything changed. My business scaled faster, I was able to work less hours. Ultimately, my company ran like a well-oiled machine. So in this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process that you need in order to find A players today. I'm going to provide you with tons of resources that are going to be linked in the description below. And if you watch till the end, I'm going to give you guys something very special. So guys, let's dive in. All right, so we're going to dive in. And in this document, I'm going to break down the step-by-step guidelines that you need in order to hire A players and what I would do if I was starting hiring from scratch. Okay, so I've broken this into 3 phases, which by the way, guys, I'm going to be making follow-up videos to each of these phases and also adding on to these phases. So ultimately you get a lot more value in terms of hiring exactly what it is that you're looking for. So phase number 1 is finding the right people. Now, before we find the right people, we want to make sure that we identify, step 1, identify what is wasting your time. What is wasting your time? Okay. Now, what does this mean? You want to write down everything that you did in the last 7 days. Now, my mentor told me to actually do this over the last 30 days, but I think you can even start with your last 7 days. Last 7 days. So for example, are you on doing a lot of admin work and, for instance, going through emails or making a lot of social media posts or doing customer support or doing cold calling? A lot of these activities are not CEO-like. There is a time and place in the very beginning when you first start, you want to learn some of this, but I would say after you've done it a couple times, you can probably build systems, processes, and hire people to completely delegate this too. Okay, so identify what these tasks are and also identify what are the tasks that are bringing on revenue to yourself, right? What are the $1,000 an hour quote unquote tasks? Does this mean that you're going to be worth $1,000 an hour? No, but things like taking sales calls, right? Shooting content and things that are going to grow your brand and going to bring in revenue are worth more of your time than doing admin work. So once you've identified this, the next step you want to do is you want to prioritize what do you want this person to do? What is your first hire going to do? Now, although on here, I'm going to give you guys a lot of different examples of what I have done myself and what I see people do. But if I was to start from scratch today, the very first hire I would ever make, I would hire an executive assistant. And I actually kind of sort of did this back in it was about 2020, mid 2020. And I hired an admin appointment setter. The only thing is that I didn't have her do as many admin tasks and she was more of an appointment setter. However, I would hire someone that does appointment setting and admin tasks and they're totally cool with it, right? Maybe they're not an expert in either, but they're good enough to at least be able to delegate this work to and be able to help me grow and achieve all the things that we need to do, because then I get to help them as much as well. All right. So you want to ask yourself, which low value tasks is taking up most of your time? So what I see all the time is I see people doing cold calling, they're responding to emails, they're doing things that are just completely tedious. What task is easiest to train someone on? Usually cold calling, because you're following a script. Usually doing admin tasks or very executive assistant type of tasks. Very easy to delegate, very easy to train, and you can also create a standard and SOPs with this person. For instance, when I brought in my executive assistant for the first time, an actual executive assistant a few months ago, I didn't really know what to do. What I did was I read Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, great book, number 1. And number 2, I created a list of things that I need done. And together, after about a few weeks of her working here, we were able to build a schedule, day-to-day calendar of what her priorities are going to be like, what our meetings are going to be like, and how she's going to be able to take things off my plate and to be able to help me buy back my time. I worked with her on this, And this took a little bit of time. And the thing is, I was okay with sacrificing the time, because ultimately now I know exactly what she's capable of doing, what she's not capable of doing, what she's good at, what she's not so good at, and so on and so forth, and things that I can help her train on. And then lastly, which task has the biggest impact on freeing up your time? So at one point in my business, it was doing a lot of the systemizing and learning high level on the back end. And I was like, yo, this is, first of all, I'm draining myself. And then second off, I could probably find someone that likes doing this. They're better than me. Why would I wait? Why would I just continue doing this over and over and over again? Okay. So once you've identified all of this and you write all of this down, what you want to do is you want to create a job description that attracts A players. What does that mean? I'm about to show you guys what a real job description looks like, what the big players are doing in the space, and not just us, but also the people that are even ahead of us, because we had a chance to learn from a lot of our 7-8 figure clients. We were able to replicate a lot of this stuff, so that way we can build an amazing team ourselves. And the better my team is, the better we can help other people. So why this matters is because I am going to give you guys an example of not just one, but two very descriptive job descriptions that you guys can take a look and actually see every single thing. And I'm going to go through this a little bit fast because we got a lot to go over here. Ignore this picture here because my computer is on duck screen all the time. But if you look at the executive assistant, I talk about the company overview, I talk about our mission, I talk about our vision, and then I dive into our service, commitment to diversity, inclusion, why someone should work with us, and talk a little bit about myself, about my business partner, our core values. This is so important. Like, I still very little, at no point so far I've talked about the role itself. Okay, the first 3 to 4 pages is about us and why someone should work with us. Then, I mean, really 6 pages. Then when we dive into the job description here, responsibilities of the role, key objectives of the role, requirements for the role, compensation for the role, benefits for the role, and then do not apply if section. Okay, so if you this is a very section that a lot of people skip on for whatever reason. Guys, this is 11 pages. This took me a long time to make, but also I have the help of ChatGPT, and I went back and forth with ChatGPT, and I created a perfect way of ChatGPT understanding exactly what my business is about, number one. And number two, I was able to create a very powerful job description. So you guys are going to get an EA job description from us and an appointment setter in this video. Click on the description below if you want access to this. So clear outcomes, required skills, work hours. Take a look at the job description. It describes everything that you need and more. Number two, where do you find this talent? So, okay, so now you've got a job description. You know exactly what you want to outsource. You put together a list of all the things that you're either not good at, you don't want to get good at because it's not good usage of your time. You're wasting your time already doing it. And now, like I said, you've already created a job description. Now it's about where do we find these people? So I'm going to have a shameless plug. However, before I give the shameless plug, there is a few platforms I want to show you guys. One of them is called Tori.ai. This is a very underrated platform. Nobody knows about this. It's very low key, but it's right here in Spanish, but you can find some of the best Latino talent in here. I checked their prices. They're not too expensive. I believe it's about $200 a month. And you can go in and basically this is a marketplace for both business owners and for people that are looking for a job. So something for you guys to be aware of. There's also your referral. Right? Always ask on your Facebook, Instagram. You never know who your people know, especially if someone that's looking to hire. In today's day and age, so many people know, all sorts of VAs and, remote workers, so on and so forth. Then I'm going to give you guys in this document 3 of my favorite Facebook groups: High Level Job Network, Virtual Assistant Project Jobs, and Empleo Bilingüe. So this is a really good one for bilingual people, specifically Spanish speakers. This is a good one for Filipinos. The second one is a good one for Filipinos. And then this one is good for anyone that you guys want that has high-level experience, that has worked within high level, whether they're a back-end person or even a front-end person. There's a lot of people here. I believe there's last time I checked, there was 50, 60,000 people here. So there's a lot of people here for sure. So you're not going to run out of people. And then another one I'm going to give you guys is hiremolatinos.com. So this is something super cool. We've actually been building this for literally 2 years. We haven't even launched this. So if you're watching this video, it might be launched now, but when I mean it's not launched yet, we haven't had an official launch party, to say the least, but it's live. And we have about a few thousand people in here. We've got more than a few clients on here already. And you guys can actually, when you sign up for free, you can actually check out some of the people that we have. You're welcome to actually click on their names, see what they're about, and actually check out their video, which is pretty cool. So we have a ton of people in here. You can sign up for free. You can check out these people. And then once you want to actually talk to someone, it's only $97 a month. It's month to month, so you're not on a contract. And you can check this out and apply. And by applying, I mean literally put your company in here, and boom, you're ready to hire from there, which is super duper exciting. The next step is to post your job. So you're going through these platforms. Awesome. What is next? You want to actually go out and actually post a job. What does this mean and why is this important? Is because you do not want to post a crappy type of job. You want to post a real job description. What is a job description? Again, it's something similar to what I just showed you guys. You want to show someone an attractive way of working with you, something that sounds and looks professional, just like this. If I look at this, I know exactly what I'm looking for, right? Here's the salary, here's responsibilities, requirements. I can show you guys some really bad job postings, but I don't want to put people on blast. Don't be the company that puts zero effort into your job posting. Take your time. Thank God, thank the universe, thank whatever you believe in, that there's ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT exists, and guess what? With ChatGPT, you can actually create a very detailed job description based on your job, based on the day-to-day, based on your core values, your mission, your vision. It takes you, if you play around with ChatGPT long enough, you will be able to create something so powerful that it literally does 80% of the job for you, and you just have to do the tweaks here and there. Okay, so create a powerful job description, and here's my tips. When I'm posting on Facebook, what I like to do is I like to make a very broad post to get a lot of leads. And then when I give them the job description, which is on a PDF, you guys can create something similar, then I can give it to them and then, tell them to message me if they're interested, right? But when I go to specific platforms that are hiring, for instance, Hire Molatinos or Torier or Indeed, I like to make a very, very specific job description right there and then, okay? I don't need them to message me because I might not see it. It might be an email, whatever the case is. Where on Facebook, I'm a little bit more active. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Whatever your mode is, I would 100% recommend you to have a PDF for your job description, just like someone has a resume. This is a job resume. This is what it is. I'm looking for a resume for this. I have a resume for that. I have a resume for this. Every single role inside of our company has a very detailed job description because someone reads this, they know what I'm about. Okay? Very, very important. So once we post the job description, all right, guys. So before we go to the next step, over here is our job board. So you guys are welcome to check this out. And also, I found a really cool article from Indeed about pre-employment testing, something that you guys could look into as well. Now, how to identify a player? So we know what to look for. We know where to look. Now, how? What do we look for, right? Like, what is the actual person that we should identify? What type of person is this? And here's some things that I absolutely love. Number one is I like to look for these 3 traits. First one is ownership. Someone that owns up to their work. Someone that's holding themselves accountable. Someone that will literally tell you if something happened with them in the past, it was, hey, I have grown from this. I didn't do the best. And honestly, this was a mistake for me and XYZ. Someone that is owning up to not being the best, or owning up and being humble because they know that, hey, at the end of the day, I got to sell myself, but I also can't lie because liars get caught. Number 2, speed. Speed is everything in this industry, guys. And you guys already know this, whether you're in agency world, real estate world, doesn't matter. Speed is king. Why? Because if someone communicates fast with me, someone is on it. They finish the skill test. They're following up with me, right? They're doing everything on a speed. That tells me that they want this. Like, faster people typically want something more than slow people. Hence why I love service in the US. I love Colombia. I live here. I'm based here in Medellin, Colombia. But one of the biggest flaws is there's really slow service. In the US, it feels like everybody's on it. Everybody wants to come get it, right? And last but not least, strong communication, right? I've just mentioned this, which is number 1, follow up. Number 2 is they have great grammar. Number 3, they're talking professionally. And overall, it is someone that I'm able to communicate with on a regular basis, right? Because if I'm having a hard time communicating with you during the process of you getting hired, I'm probably going to have a really hard time with you when you're here. It should be literally flawless within these 3 things: ownership, speed, and communication. Now, I like to test people before I interview them. So what I look for in tests, so there's different things that you guys can look for: adaptability, communication, self-discipline, reliability, rule following, and accountability, honesty, and so on and so forth. I like personality tests, so I do them. I'm not a big, humongous fan on them, and what I mean is I do them and I do take them into account, but they influence my decision between 5 to 7%, maybe 8%, aka not that much. What I like to do is, besides the personality test, I like to give them actual skill tests. Okay, and I can provide this to you guys, and I didn't do this here because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with a bunch of stuff, but I can show you guys a skill test that I've done for appointment setters, executive assistants, salespeople, graphic designers, editors, I mean, you name it. The more creative the role is, the easier the skill test can be. The harder skill tests are usually like with a cold caller or an appointment setter. And the skill test that I prefer to do, I like to give them a script, to study the script, and do one interview where we talk about the company, the culture, and do another interview where it's a role play. right? And it could be one or the first one, the second one, doesn't matter. At some point, I want to do a role play, having them sell my product. I already have them sell on the interview their product, right? Which is a separate time. I'm not going to dive too much into interviews here. I'm going to have a whole different video on interviews. But the biggest thing here is I want to make sure people like yourselves don't fall in love with just personality tests, but understand that it is valuable for them to do something, because it is valuable for them to complete something before they actually get started. You also can do some sort of a pay test, which, there's a ton of them out there, and I can give you guys a bunch of recommendations. Step 3 is hire fast, but with clear expectations. So whenever I do the onboarding call, which I'm going to do a whole video on the onboarding that we do, we actually do 2 onboardings internally, and I'll explain to you why and how on another video. But when I do this, I don't promise them long-term future here until they prove themselves. Everybody here is on a month-to-month basis, right? Especially your first few months, and especially even more the first 30 days. It is your time to prove to me and to the people you're around, your colleagues, why you belong in this company. Okay, so don't promise longevity until it's proven, and set clear KPIs. This is all going to be covered inside of the onboarding call that I'm going to do, and break down every single one. So guys, phase 1, just want to recap really quick. So phase 1, we identified what we need to delegate and what we don't need to do, and as well as what do we need to do, the $1,000 an hour tasks. Then we looked into the platforms that can help us find the people. We created job descriptions and created the postings that actually make sense. And then we have identified the type of person that we want to bring on board, right? Based on our core values, our mission, our vision, and also getting on the interview process. Now, there is a big part here that I'm not having, which is the interview process, because I want to have a complete video on this that takes you step by step through this. So keep in mind that obviously you're gonna have to interview, and if you've never interviewed anybody, we are going to make a video just for you. Just keep us in mind, give us like a couple weeks until we make that video, and we'll take it from there. So let's talk about phase 2. Phase 2, setting up systems for remote success. So this is what I call the CEO dashboard, quote unquote, method to run your business. We actually use all of these platforms. If you're currently not having any, if you don't have any systems, any platforms, you're already doing something wrong. These are by far the easiest ones to set up, and they're very, very, very inexpensive. I mean, Slack could be free. I do recommend to pay for it. Google's really inexpensive, and ClickUp, there's a free version for it, and there's also a very, very, very inexpensive version. However, ClickUp is a little bit higher level. I'd say before you're doing 15 to 20K a month, you don't need ClickUp. You can do everything on Google Sheets and Google Drives. So these are the ones that I started my business with, honestly, including Go High Level. If you are not using them, you should 100% use them. I'm actually going to add Go High Level in here because it is my CRM, it's our dialer, it's our it's everything we have now. It's Go High Level with Twilio for the dialer. So something for you guys to be aware of. Let's move to the next thing. So the SOPs. Okay, so once you have these systems in place, again, you don't need that many. It's just a communication platform where you're going to put all your everything into one place. And then lastly, your CRM to contact leads. Literally, if you can literally start and run a business and probably hit 50 to 60K a month. I know people that have done big boy numbers with high profit margins just with these, literally. So just keep that in mind. So next thing is SOPs. Okay, so SOP, a lot of people don't know what that is. It's a standardized operation procedure. It is literally a roadmap for your team. So I actually created a couple here. You're going to get these in the description as well. I'm going to show you guys the LinkedIn SOP that I have. I've actually built this up to show you guys how I did this, how to use Dripify, for instance, Dripify tutorials, optimize my profile, LinkedIn hooks to use. Here's example of long form, example of short form, all this stuff. So I literally built a whole thing for my team. I also did one for social media manager where, we talked about like the platforms that we're using and all that good stuff. The only thing that's missing here is videos, and we have a checklist. We have everything besides videos. This is very important. If you do not have videos, people might be confused. So it's actually one of my biggest things, just like I'm doing here, is creating loop videos about task by task by task. So that way people are super duper clear, right? Write this out. And then you want to use ChatGPT for organization. Like, don't try to do too many things by yourself, right? There's obviously a human concept you want to have and human, gut feeling and so on and so forth. But let ChatGPT organize it for you and make it crystal clear, especially if you're hiring remote team members that English might not be their first language. They're obviously maybe speaking great English, but some more than others. Make their life easier. How do you make their life easier? We have a statement, and this is something my business partner harps with me all the time. He's on me. How can we automate this? How can we simplify this? How can we make this better? Right? How can we simplify this? How can we automate this? How can we make this better? If you can and get into this mode with your team, it's amazing for you. So SOPs is going to be one of those ways. The next thing is the delegation rule. I absolutely love this. I actually learned this from ChatGPT, and this was pretty genius. ChatGPT came up with 5 W's. Love this. So the 5 W's that we use in delegate when it comes to delegation is what? What is the task? Why? Why do we need to do this task? When? When is the deadline? Who is this assigned to? And winning. What does success look like? Like, what does success look like? This is incredible. I love everything about this. And honestly, this could even be part of your SOP where you literally write out, what is the task? Why is this needs to be done? When is the deadline? Who needs to do this? And winning. Now, you need to kind of figure out how to put this in your SOP, but I absolutely love this. Always think about the 5 W's here, okay? Pro tip, this is something great. Use a weekly scorecard where team members report key numbers and wins. No micromanagement needed, okay? So I like to use Hubstaff. But however, I don't use Hubstaff to monitor people. I use Hubstaff to track time because everybody in our company works based on hours, not salary. Something that we just started doing recently. And we have people doing an end of day and end of week report, which I'm going to explain to you guys in a little bit here. And I'm going to do a whole section about that as well. So let's talk about phase 3. So phase 3 is managing for long-term success. Remember, this is the broad view of hiring your people. So the next thing is once you actually hire them, like you've gone through this process, they've skill tested, you've done the interviews, which we're going to do a whole video on. The next step is to manage these people because so many of you have hired the right people, but you were not able to keep them. It's just like having the perfect wife or the perfect husband and you do not have them in your life anymore for whatever reason. And that sucks, right? Nothing's worse when the absolute perfect person shows up in your life and you ruin it, right? So you don't want to do that in your business. You don't want to do that in your personal life. So let's talk about managing long-term success. The first thing is culture in retention. What does that mean? Well, you want to create an environment where people actually want to stay, right? Paying performance-based. I love this, right? We used to call them bonuses. We actually call them performance-based. So some of this means like commissions. Some of this means hitting their KPIs. Some of this means going above and beyond. If someone like over-delivers, right? Is there an over-delivery way? And then, also you can reward people if you want to do like birthdays. We do a $50 birthday gift. Obviously giving people PTO. We have people doing they get 10 days a year from US holidays, and then they have 10 days additional from them. So they have 20 days off basically for the year. If you divide that, by 12, that's basically like 2 days off a month. That's pretty nice. You know what I mean? Now we don't have them earn it in the beginning. They have to work here for at least 4 months, and then they earn it, right? So most people we hire stick for at least 4 months. We have a pretty high retention rate. One thing that I wanted to show you guys actually is celebrating wins in Slack and team wins, right? So I want to show you guys this. There's 2 things. So whenever we get a new client, we always celebrate it. You can see my team going crazy here. That's one. And then another one that we go crazy over is whenever we get testimonials. So whenever our clients provide us a testimonial or candidates. So for instance, here's candidates, the whole team. I want to make sure everybody likes it and celebrates it. Same thing with client testimonials. We go, yes, amazing. Let's go. Definitely. Let's get some more. Congratulations. We want to create a company full of celebrations, especially when it's earned. Celebrations that are earned. So create a community where people like to celebrate. Like it feels good. They don't feel trapped. Like they genuinely like working here, man. Like I can't explain to you guys how sucky it must feel for people that go to a job they can't stand. They work with people they can't stand. They work with their boss they can't stand. They don't respect other people and they're just depressed. I truly believe one of the biggest reasons why people are depressed in today's world is because they work in jobs they hate and they're around people they don't like to be. Because if you love what you do and you spend 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day on it, right? 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. That is the majority of your life is at work. Why would you choose to do something you hate? That is insane to me. It will never make sense. And guess what? At a young age, it makes sense. When I was, 14, 15, 16, whatever, I was working at Five Guys and then I worked at Topgolf, not the greatest jobs, but whatever, it is what it is. My question is, what happens when you're a little bit older and, you're at a place where it's hard? I get it, but at least work with people you like and creating culture of that. You can do that anywhere with any job. So celebrate. See? So you want to make sure you create a celebration culture, especially when it's earned. Invest into your key players. I love doing one-on-ones with my top performers. If you're just watching this, obviously this might be one of the first people you hire. You want to spend a lot of time with this person. Like the first 4 or 5 people I hired, I spent a lot of one-on-one time with them because I wanted to mold them into exactly the type of person that would want to work with them. Right? I know the type of clients I'm closing. I have relationships with them. I know them personally. Some of them, I used to consult. So I want to build a team of people that they would want to work with, right? So spending a lot of time with them, going over SOPs, creating trainings, and obviously very important, a lot of this before, hiring the right people. Because if you don't hire the right people, doing all of this doesn't really matter. And then performance reviews. So this is something very important. I like to do end of month performance review. This is something we do every single month. However, something that's not on here is our weekly and daily review. So every single day, people must submit an end of day report. This is just like a checkout. At the end of the week, we have an end of week report. So there's about 10 to 15 questions. It's a little bit more detailed, and it takes about probably 15 to 20 minutes to complete. However, at the end of the month, it's much more detailed, and it should take about 20, 30 minutes to complete. And these are some of the questions that we have in here, for instance. And I go over every single question in here to make sure they do it, right? So obviously people must submit their end of day every day. They must submit an end of week every single week, because if they don't, and we consistently see them not submitting things, they're not hitting their KPIs, they're not doing what they're supposed to, we then go through the PIP. So you guys are also going to get access to the PIP, okay? So this is a PIP template I got from one of my old mentors. And basically over here, it gives you every single thing you need to know about what a PAP improvement plan is and what they need to improve on and things like that. And actually gives you an entire guideline of how to create what you need to create for your role. Because every PIP is a little bit different, because some people are not performing, some people are not a culture fit, whatever the case may be. Okay. So, another thing is, ultimately, with the end of month reports, what am I looking for? I'm looking for these three things. What should we start doing? What should we stop doing? And what do we need to continue doing? Basically, what worked great? What did not work great? And what do we need to continue doing because it worked so great? Okay? All right, guys. So we're almost at the last 30 minutes. So we're cutting out the last part here. And the fire fast rule. Okay? So cut the weak links. This is one of the biggest things that I struggle with, guys. I hope that you don't make this mistake. If you see someone underperforming consistently, you see someone that's just not hitting their goals, not hitting their numbers, it's time to let them go. The worst thing you're doing is keeping someone on board for the longest time, because you're wasting time, you're wasting money, you're wasting energy, and you're losing people's trust within your company. And if you have an A player, guess what? An A player does not want to work with a C- player, right? A players will accept B players, because what a B player to me is someone that gets the job done, and that's it. They'll hit their KPI, but they're not going to go above and beyond. They're not going to stay overnight. They're not going to work weekends, but they're going to hit their KPI. That's a B player. A player is going to go above and beyond, going to hit their KPI, is going to over deliver. He's going to feel like feels like he's a part of the company. He's like a partner in the company. That's an A player, right? Now, you're not going to hire every single A player, but your first 5 to 10 people absolutely must be A players. I would say even up to 20 people must be A players, because you're building a startup, and depending on how big you want to get this baby to, the more A players you have, the better. And I promise you, an A player, if you hire a C player and you don't get rid of them, and you're not conscientious, you're not listening to them, they're already starting to look at other jobs. They're like, this person's making my life easier. Sorry, this person is making my life harder. They are not hitting their goals. It's affecting my pay. It's affecting my time and energy. I'm stressed, and they're still here. What is happening? Okay? Bad hires are not only bad for your expense, but they also cause chaos within the company. They poison other people, and ultimately, A players will not let that happen. I promise you, they're just not going to stick around. And if you want A players to stick around, that's what you're going to do. So, and there you have it, guys. I know that was a lot, and below are all the resources, including the document that I just went over. Now, guys, if you would like to work with us, we have two options for you. One is if you wanted to go hire on your own and you wanted to make your own job posting and your own vetting and recruiting, let's help you do that. If you head over to hireremotelatinos.com or app.remotelatinos.com, sign up for free, and you can actually see the talent that we have, and you can interview, and it's only $97 a month. However, if you are watching this video and you made it this far and you want to work with us in terms of us having to hire for you, that is our talent hunt offer. This is when we present you the candidates that you're looking for, whether it's an appointment setter, a closer, graphic designer, video editor. We've done this thousands of times. If you're watching this video, you get a $250 discount. That's right, if you made it this far, you're getting a $250 discount to work with my team. You're gonna click the link below, remotelatinos.com. You're gonna get on a call with Johan, tell him you came from the YouTube video, and I will personally give you a $250 discount to start working with us so we can find you the exact match that you're looking for. Thank you for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Os.